This is season 4, and I am on a mission to help creatives become the most loved versions of themselves. I want to help you step into health in every single area of your life and pursue the authentic creative expression that you feel called to and that only you can. The world feels crazy right now, and we need healthy creatives more than ever. So let's get into it. I'm Courtney Lancaster, and this is the Heal Create podcast. Welcome to another episode of the Heal Create podcast. I am excited. Is excited the word? I'm determined. I'm ready. We are going to talk about money. So every single month of this school year, as you probably know if you've listened, we have covered a topic that is a pillar of a healthy creative life. So we've done vision, we've done inner child work, we've done brain retraining, we've done relationships, spirituality. And this month we are focusing on money. And when I was creating the outline for this 9 months, I knew that I really wanted to talk about money. And I also knew that it was going to be one of those things that I am learning right alongside with you. And that's because money is such a tricky topic for every single one of us. But the most important thing to understand about money and your relationship with money is that it will always mirror your relationship with support, meaning how normal it was for you to feel resourced and supported as a kid will be how normal it will feel for you to make and receive and interact with money. For a lot of us, we have issues. So let's get into it. Creatives often feel intense emotions around money. And there's a reason for this too. Because a lot of creatives, and I think it's Jacob Collier says, every single artist is a kid who survived. And it is a cliche. It doesn't have to be that way, but often it's true because creatives tend to be the sensitive ones, the ones that think outside the box, and our woundedness around not being seen and heard and safely visible has so much to do with how safe we feel as adults in every single area. And money is no exclusion to that. So when you are interacting with money, a lot of us think that all of our adult interactions with money have to do about like business strategy, pricing, marketing, especially because most creatives are entrepreneurs, which is a whole other thing that nobody really tells you about being an artist. Is there's a lot of business stuff that goes into it if you actually are doing this professionally. But most of the time, what your relationship with money is actually about is your nervous system capacity and your early attachment. Money is not just currency. It is a symbol of support, meaning for the nervous system, money equals food, it equals shelter, it equals belonging, it equals survival, everything that you needed to survive. And the brain doesn't experience money logically, it experiences it biologically. So your money story actually began in your 0 to 8 life time, in your early childhood. That's when we learned how supported and resourced we actually were. So when kids are really little, they form beliefs around like, am I supported? Do my needs matter? Is there enough for me? Do I have to perform to receive love and care? Is it safe for me to ask what I need? Those answers form your attachment, your blueprint, your attachment blueprint. And that blueprint also becomes your money blueprint. It's not a light topic, and it's not just that you need to stop buying lattes and put more money in your savings. Although you might need to do both of those things. You might want to, but that's not what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about like the relationship that you have. So I want to go into like your childhood experience. If in your childhood love was inconsistent, then your adult money pattern will be something like income instability will feel normal to you. If your needs were inconvenient, charging will feel selfish. If your caregivers were really overwhelmed, you will have this fear of being too much financially. Like there isn't enough money to support you. There isn't enough money for all of your needs and desires. If you experienced emotional neglect, you'll often have a lot of difficulty receiving basic support. So basically, if support felt scarce growing up, money will feel scarce too, even when it isn't, even if you have a lot of it. Creatives feel this even more because creative work triggers attachment systems. Creating means, and we've talked about this on this podcast, creativity means that you are stepping into visibility almost all of the time. Of course, if you are a creative, you could have a private hobby, artistic hobby that nobody ever sees. But most of the time, especially the people that find me, they're artists and they're creatives that want to actually step towards their creative dreams. And so that means they are actually stepping towards being seen, being evaluated, and asking others, either implicitly or even explicitly sometimes, to support your expression and your creation. For the brain, that activates the same circuits as parental approval, belonging to the tribe, survival. And what's so interesting is that it's a part of the brain called the anterior cingulate cortex. It's the region that processes like social rejection, lights up in the same place as physical pain when you sense that you might be rejected from your friends or the tribe or the community. It is so incredibly painful. It's so interesting because I had a post recently on Instagram go, I guess viral can mean a lot of things. For me, it went viral, like thousands and thousands and thousands of views. And I got a lot of great support, and it was so great that it resonated with people. But I also got some pushback and some outright criticism and even some accusations. And I was like, oh my, this is so triggering. And this is what I, commit to stepping towards the challenges that are in front of me on my pursuit to authenticity and my own creative expression and my own, thought leadership or whatever. Like there's going to be so much of that. And I'm okay with that. But I recognize like the fact that the pain that you can experience is real pain that needs real tending and is really actually healable and will not kill you. But it feels like it can, or at least physical pain has the same reaction from your body to self-protect social rejection has the same reaction from your body to go into self-protection, anxiety, depression, as physical pain might. And so when someone doesn't like buy your work or sign up for your program or like download your single, or we don't download singles anymore, do we? Follow you on wherever or read your blog or buy your book or whatever. Your brain might register it as I am not supported. Or if you get pushback, you get criticism for what happens, what you do, what you put out there. Your brain will light up in the same way as if you were actually like getting punched in the gut, even though that's just part of the creative life. And you can build resiliency, you can build nervous system capacity towards that. I mention all that though because we will always have to face how unsupported we feel, and heal and tend to those young parts of us as we move forward. And your relationship with money will need the same tending because it's all coming back to the same story that you experienced as a kid. So I've seen, as far as creatives and artists that want to like actually step into this, the thing that they want to do professionally, or step into dreams. Or maybe you are an entrepreneur and you want to step towards making more money. Or maybe you're already, you have a job and there are opportunities for you to increase what you could be making. Or maybe you're just a person who has to deal with money like all of the rest of us, and there's anxiety and you don't know why. I see like 4 different types of people. And I'll tell you which one I am. But I see 4 different like personalities when it comes to money. So there's like the over giver. So these are the people that are undercharging, over delivering, absolutely exhausted. And the fundamental belief under that might be obvious to you, but it might not be. And it's, I must earn love and support. I must earn it. I must work really, really hard. I have people that I love very dearly that are in that boat, and it is exhausting, and you feel like you're running on a hamster wheel that never quits. There's also the avoider. That is somebody who avoids finances, avoids looking at numbers. It's kind of a chaotic income. And their belief is that money creates stress and conflict. That is my particular archetype, if you will. And there are a lot of reasons for that. Just to share personally, I had no idea how much money we had. I just knew that my dad and my mom wanted to be as stable as possible, didn't want to rock the boat. So we had a fairly simple life. And my parents both came from extremely chaotic backgrounds. And so I just knew all of the stories combined with my Christian conservative upbringing about how evil money was, how evil it was, how selfish people were when they had money, how selfish it was to pursue money, and how like when people got money, they became bad people. And so my habits around money are all about, have historically, the things that I've had to work through and am working through are about me never looking at money and like, hoping that it all works out. That actually wasn't consequential until I started my own business. And when I started my own business, that's when I really saw how absolutely avoidant to the max and chaotic I was with money. Like how I felt around money was high anxiety, high stress. I never wanted to look at it. And I didn't even realize that until I started my own business. And now I've come to find that it's really common for people that step towards their own business where they are in charge of how much money they make. The other archetype that I see, the other personality type is the performer. Very successful, but very anxious, always pushing. It never feels like enough. Even though they have money, they might be like putting money away even. The underlying belief for that type of personality is I am loved when I produce. That's also a message that we get in childhood. When we contribute, that's when we receive love. When we behave, that's when we receive love. When we are impressive, that's when we receive love and connection and belonging. The last personality type is like the scarcity mindset, scarcity protector. They are the hoarders. They're the ones that never spend money. They constantly fear risk. They constantly fear everything collapsing, financial collapse. They very much struggle to invest in their dreams. And their belief is basically like support is very inconsistent at best, but most of the time it disappears or it's non-existent. So the good news is that these patterns are learned and anything can be rewired. Your nervous system learned these rules from early environments, and it's always the most hopeful thing to me to remember that the brain is plastic. The brain is neuroplastic, meaning it changes based on the habits and the patterns that we shift ourselves. This is like incredible news. You've probably heard me talk about it. Go back to some of my brain retraining podcasts from a couple of months ago in January. You can literally design your entire personality, your entire life. one of my favorite examples of this, I was just talking to a client who read this book that I had recommended, and it's called A Stroke of Genius. Oh, the author just left me. I'll have to put it in the show notes. Basically, she had a stroke and was rendered completely, all of her faculties were gone. She was like as if she was a baby. And very slowly over the course of a couple of years, she came back online through different therapies, and eventually came all the way back online to the point that she did a TED Talk and was incredible and is an amazing, excellent communicator. But what she noticed is that when she was rebuilding herself, she noticed old thoughts and patterns would begin to come back online. And she recognized, I have a choice to make if I actually want that old part of me still, or if I want something different and better. And she would basically, as she was doing therapy to come back online, she would deny old thoughts and not give attention to patterns and habits that weren't serving her, that weren't a part of who she wanted to become. And she would amplify and focus on the good things that she wanted to create. And then she went on to do all of this research and basically realized we all have the opportunity to do that, and we don't need a stroke to do it. So that's why it's exciting to think about the fact that you can change your experience. And the brain rewires the way that we change our experiences. We rewire through repetition and emotional safety, nervous system regulation, not through intellectual insight. So this entire podcast you could listen to and be like, wow, yeah, that's a great point. But that will not change your experience. You don't heal money wounds by thinking differently. You don't heal anything by thinking differently alone. You heal them by experiencing safety, by experiencing support repeatedly. When it comes to money, that is how we heal our money stories, is we experience support repeatedly. So, practical steps. How can creatives start healing their money story? The first thing you want to do is get really honest about what happened to you. If you haven't done this, it would be best to do this with support. But I want you to identify your childhood support story. How supported and resourced did you feel as a kid? When you think about money, what emotions appear first? Is it panic? Is it shame? Is it pressure? Is it guilt? That emotion points to the childhood belief about how supported and resourced you were. We also are invited to really and finally recognize that money does not equal worth. You need to separate money from your worth, meaning money is a resource exchange. It is not a measure of your value. Your art and your ideas and your creations, your business, the things you want to put out into the world, they're valuable whether people buy it today or not. You are valuable whether people engage with you and what you make or not. And that is a journey in and of itself, an important, incredibly valuable journey to go on, again, with support if needed. You change your internal level of self-worth, you will change everything about your life. The next thing we want to do is we want to build nervous system safety around receiving. Oh my gosh, you guys, some of you were terrible at receiving. I'm still learning how to receive myself, but what I want you to do is practice small acts of receiving. Compliments, help, even money. When you get money, when somebody pays you, practice really receiving that in gratitude and as proof and evidence that you are supported and valued. Practice gratitude when you receive opportunities, when doors open for you or people invite you places. Your reticular activating system, the part of your brain that notices patterns, if you begin to say, wow, look how supported and resourced I am every day, try it for a week. Your brain will start to notice patterns in the same way that if you buy a new car and then all of a sudden you see that exact same car everywhere, that's your reticular activating system. So you can hack your reticular activating system to see patterns in how resourced and supported you are. And When you do that, what you'll actually be doing is you'll be increasing your nervous system capacity to receive more and more and more. Next, I would love for you to create new support experiences. So your brain updates through evidence. This is where I want you to be proactive about receiving. Maybe it is finding mentors that can speak into your life and can hold space for you emotionally. Again, obviously finding like therapeutic support, coaching, small groups where you are listened to and heard. We want to, even ideal clients is great evidence, like clients that pay you what you ask and that are really aligned with who you are. That's great evidence for your brain that you have something to offer and that you deserve to be compensated for that. Your nervous system begins to learn through you moving towards receiving support and really recognizing and taking in that support actually exists right now. We just aren't always tuned into it. If receiving does feel uncomfortable, like if you hate when people sing happy birthday to you, which is a fantastic way, what a litmus test to see how comfortable am I being the center of attention? How comfortable am I being loved and doted on and supported? That's just a nervous system clue. If that's uncomfortable for you, it's a nervous system clue. It's not a character flaw, and it doesn't have to mean anything about you and about what's possible for you. We basically just want to expand your capacity to for money, for interacting with money. We want to change our stories around support. That will change your stories around how you interact with money. Money expansion, like making more money, moving towards making more money, moving towards just getting your finances organized. That's something that I've been doing over the last couple of years, and it has been horrible. Horrible because 40 years of not looking at your money makes for a big giant mess that you have to clean up later. Highly, highly 10 out of 10 would not recommend it. Also, I have to be honest, and I do have to laugh at myself because I'm like, how adorable. She just didn't look at money. That's like, she just like crossed her fingers and swiped her card. Okay. We're cleaning it up and we're getting there. But look, if you're looking to make more money or organize your finances or just change your relationship with money in general, it will trigger the same sensations that we've talked about on this podcast the entire time, which is visibility, success, love, everything that sounds good consciously and feels terrifying subconsciously if you had negative experiences with those things growing up. So the work is often simply learning to tolerate more goodness. Your money story is not at all a proof of your limitations or proof of your value. It's just a map of where your nervous system learned to survive. And the beautiful thing is, creatives are often the most capable of rewriting those stories because we've got these wild imaginations. So creativity itself is the act of saying something new is possible, right? We're bringing something new that hasn't happened yet or no one has seen out into the world. Creatives are the best at that. So use your superpowers for good, my friend. I have an excellent resource for you. Well, I have a couple. If you go to my website, courtneylancaster.co, and go to resources, you'll find a bunch of resources, and they are all meditations and visualizations, which is how we rewire our brain, geared towards helping you increase your capacity for goodness. So I have one literally called Rehearsing Goodness, and it's just going to walk you through using all of your sensations and lovely background music and my voice. We're going to walk through memories that you have experienced that were really good. We're going to create new memories. We're going to use our technicolor imagination, I always like to say, to give your nervous system dose neurochemistry, serotonin, oxytocin, dopamine, and to literally rewire your brain and increase your capacity. So Rehearsing Goodness is an excellent one. There's a 5-minute, 10-minute, and 20-minute meditation, depending on how much time you have. That means you can fit it in any day. I also have the 10 gifts meditations. Those are based on the 10 developmental emotional needs of kids. So to be seen, to be heard, to be valued, to be protected, to be shown affection, to be provided for is one, to be played with, to be taught. All of those developmental needs growing up are, for most of us, because we were all raised by imperfect parents, most of us are looking to fill in some gaps. Because if you had every single emotional need met as a kid, you would grow up to be an adult that feels fully confident, fully capable. Few of us had that because we were all raised by imperfect people, combined with the fact that most of our childhoods didn't include all of the language around emotional health that we have now. I think it's an exciting time to be alive, even though it can feel scary. But with the 10 gifts meditations, you can go in and choose. They're about 15 to 20 minutes long. The meditation that will help you go back to that younger part of you and give yourself what you didn't have. And you can always figure out what need you're missing based on your triggers. So I have a little map on that down on that resource that will help you figure out exactly what need you might be needing to fill. I also have the daily practice design guide, the daily practice design guide, and the know your nervous system guide. And both of those will help you understand yourself and understand your nervous system, and then also create a daily practice to move towards finding the specific actions that help you uniquely, specifically feel regulated every day or return to regulation every day, help you increase your capacity and help you move towards the life that you're here to live. If you are also listening to this and you are saying, oh my gosh, there's so many things that I need to work on, or I need help with my own journey. I'm also a coach. I am certified in the compassion method, as well as muscle music certification, which is nervous system regulation and mental health for artists and creatives. And I would love to help you if you'd like to book a discovery call. So that is it for today. Stay tuned. This month, we're going to talk more about scarcity and abundance and being a healthy grown-up around money, which you can do, my loves. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.